special guest for this very special Mojo video marketing training call for clients and customers and very few select VIPs. And we're going to be talking a little bit about, we're going to be talking about networking and video. And one of the big things that Mojo has done to grow our business is entirely through networking. Actually, I'll show you guys something really quick. I'm going to show my screen now. So make sure, if you guys can hear me, just let me know. And I'm going to show you guys something that I think you guys will like. And so anyway, happy, it's Good Friday today. So for all of you that have Easter coming up this weekend, look forward to some good times. And for all of you that had Passover, many, congratulations to you as well. So let me actually introduce my special guest here real quick while I have the opportunity to. We actually have Robert Bucci. He's from, what is it, Jersey? Is it Jersey you're from,
Yep.
Robert? Right on.
Well, that's where I live. I don't label me as from.
Ah, okay. Right. That's a different story altogether. Okay, cool. So, he lives in New Jersey currently, and really awesome guy. He has a company called New Response Marketing, and he's using the Matrix in some very interesting ways, and he does it all around networking. So we're going to talk about how to make your networking more effective to actually become I guess you would say the ringleader, the ultimate subject matter expert, to be the person that attracts all these business owners. So rather than pushing the string, you're pulling the string, and that always ends up in more business anyway. And so he's going to talk about kind of laws of attraction when it comes to using video with networking. And so it's a fabulous topic. I mean, he used to be an engineer that went into computers, basically figured out how to market himself and how to use video to do that. So video is actually his primary medium for that, and he really saw the Mojo Matrix as a huge opportunity to take advantage of basically making video for his clients, for his networking partners, and making it easier for himself to attract the people that he's looking for. So it's going to be a pretty good session here today. But yeah, we're going to talk actually a little bit about networking, and let me show you something. This is pretty much what Mojo did in order to start our business, right? We got out there, we were just brand new, we had no database, we had zero contacts, we had an awesome idea, we had amazing information, we had lots of years of experience, but just starting a company, you just need to get the word out. So the best way to go is just go to your local community networking events, right? So the chambers of commerce, the BNIs of the world, the other networking groups that you might have locally, that you might find out about through meetup.com. So this is how we started our business, and this is how we grew our business. And since then, we've actually gone on to grow our business, at 25 to 30% per month. And it all started here with networking and using video in order to follow up with people. And that was one of the big deals, right? Because, this was our problem, initially. And I'll show you this, guys, because, you can probably relate, but you collect a lot of business cards, but a lot of times it's always hard to figure out how you actually monetize all of these contacts. And so that's why we created the Matrix, so you can actually take advantage of this, because once you meet them, that's really when the work really starts, right? That's only the first part. Now the goal is to really follow up with people, and the follow-up was tough, right? And without the Matrix, I just don't know how I would do it. But before, you're making phone calls and nobody's returning your phone calls, and you're actually trying to dial people up. Nobody listens to their voicemail. Nobody's really responding, right? And so that was a big problem. Not only that, but email didn't have a huge response rate at all. Open rates for newsletters is anywhere from 5 to 10%. The read rate is actually less than 1%. It's about the same as direct mail. It's just because everybody skims, nobody really reads, nobody really has time to read, and they hit delete, delete, delete on newsletters. And plus, there's brochures and flyers. A lot of times they get thrown away really fast. I mean, wouldn't you say, Robert, if you get a flyer, I mean, what typically happens?
Depending on the graphics, I may look at it more from a perspective of how would I modify this for my purposes instead of actually looking at what they're trying to sell. It goes in the garbage.
Yeah, pretty much. You use this as a model, like a caliber,
Sure.
calibration tool to your own marketing, which is kind of interesting. And so you're looking at it, but you're not really looking at it. And a lot of times it goes to the garbage can, it goes in the recycle bin. So a lot of people like putting it in the recycle bin because it actually makes them feel better about themselves. They feel like they're saving the planet at that point, right? Which is pretty amazing. So anyway, that's not getting high response, and then websites really aren't converting that much. So that's why we started actually sending videos to people afterwards. So we felt like this poor lady, and we're actually going to talk about some real specific strategies around networking and how to use it and how to grow a networking database using video. But this was our problem, right? Felt very much like this poor woman, looking like a deer in the headlights, not being very effective with it. And so from here, we actually went back to the drawing board, went back to networking events and said, how can we make this better? And we did that by sending videos afterward. And that's really what spawned off into the Mojo Matrix, because it was so effective and powerful, and people literally feel like they've known us for a long time, despite the fact that they've probably only known us for maybe a year, maybe a couple years. And so that's really kind of interesting, is that it really gave us that top-of-mind awareness almost instantly. And that really means a lot. I mean, to go somewhere and have people know you is really important, right? Because it's always like you're walking into a crowd of friends rather than a crowd of strangers. And so by using video effectively, you can have this kind of feeling. You can be known as the ultimate subject matter expert. And I know that's why a lot of you are listening to this, is because you want to be that top expert in your field. You want to have people. You want to attract the right kind of clients. You want to do it easier. You want them to know you and all that jazz. And by doing this is so effective. For instance, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday from Sacramento, and before that it was 2 people in Australia and one from France that I'm speaking to later today. And it's interesting what video does, because it automatically separates you from everybody else. And so now these people that are all over the world are doing business with us, and it's simply because we have great video. They find us, they watch our videos, they relate to us, they learn from us, they get all our content, and they come to us. Sometimes we do strategy sessions, and they want to learn from us. And ultimately, I mean, it's so much easier to do transactions. For instance, yesterday I was talking to this guy. His name is Sean, and or Seth actually. Seth, it's interesting that we were, I was talking to you yesterday. I hope you listened to this one. But I was just chit-chatting with him, finding out what was his major challenges with video. And it's interesting because he wanted help with script writing, and which is, I think, a big challenge for a lot of people. If you're listening to this and if you have problems writing scripts, or if that's something that you need help with, let me know. I mean, I'm interested if this is like something that people consistently need help with, because that's one of the major challenges I think that people have. So if you're watching this, let us know. You can either email us at our support line, or respond back in some kind of way. But let us know if that's one of your major challenges, because we actually might even put together a little product where we can help people put together scripts for their videos. So no matter where you live, you could have a script writer on demand that could just basically help you with that, because I know that's a major challenge for a lot of people. But what was interesting about my conversation with this individual is because he kind of perceived us as the expert, because we are the experts in what we do, and the transaction was so much easier, and just because of the perceived credibility there. So anyway, there's a lot that video can do for you. Let's talk a little bit about how Robert's doing it when it comes to networking groups, because he's got an interesting concept that he's putting together, and what it's doing is it's attracting people to him. It's building an audience. He's able, in effect, to market to people easier by doing what he's doing, and I think it's really just a handy idea. And he's going to be using over the next 6 to 12 months the Mojo Matrix to drive that, and drive that train, and really kind of provide a lot of value to the people in his networking group. So we'll start off right away, just asking a couple questions of Robert, how he's doing it, and how you can do it in your business. Because no matter who you are, just imagine this. Imagine if you were attracting the right people and you did deals much easier. Well, the kind of thing that Robert's doing will help you do that. if you choose to do it, right? And there's all kinds of niches. He does marketing for clients, and he's using networking in order to do that, but with an interesting little twist. So let's go right into it. Robert, tell us a little bit more about your company and what you're doing as far as networking groups and how you're using video with that.
Sure, thanks. Well, basically, from the company perspective, my goal is, of course, to create videos for clients, because video is the best way to carry a message. It's not just written words. It's not just graphics on a billboard as they're driving by. It's content that you can place on the internet that's always available when someone's asking a question. So that was the reason I set up the company, and the way that we are attracting our clients is through creating our own videos, approaching them about video, talking to them at networking events, similar to the picture that you have here on the screen. And we started singing the praises of video, explaining to people how video is a Google darling right now. But we started realizing there's a large number of people at these networking events, and many of them are facing the same problem that you illustrated with. I don't know how you got that photograph of my desk cluttered with business cards, but
yeah,
got the same problem. You leave these events and you have that same issue, and so does everyone else in that room. So we started talking to them. When I got an opportunity to talk to someone at a networking event, or especially when you get your 30 or 60 seconds to explain what you do at those structured events, I started asking them, if you're the person that goes out and wins the sales, wouldn't it be great? How many of you would be able to make more sales, close more deals, if you could dedicate a larger amount of your work week to quality follow-up? And everybody's hand goes up, because they know that's where the sale is made. So we realized how strong this opportunity is, and I was so grateful when I discovered Mojo. I just happened to find that through someone's random mention in a chat log that I was following. But a couple of buddies and I have been talking about creating a new networking organization. And this was the reason we wanted to do it, was because we felt that same business card problem is ineffective. And similar to the reason that Corey and Ira put together the Matrix, was the same problems we were facing. So what we've done is we are keeping that same traditional networking structure, in that the goal of the group is to generate business for each other, bring in referrals. If you think of BNI or LaTip or something like that, it's the same type of idea, but we're laying on top of that internet marketing. And what we're doing as to use Mojo to help us do this is, I'm going to use the BNI model. Every member is expected to carry around with them the business cards of other members of their group, so that if you happen to stumble across somebody who's looking for a roofer, and you got a roofer in your group, you can say, hey, I know a guy, here's his business card, why don't you give him a call? And that's as far as that goes. Certainly you go back and you tell your roofer that you made this connection with someone, but unless those people make the effort to talk to each other, that's where it dies. So what we wanted to do is make it more immediate. So we're taking Mojo, and if you're familiar with the product, you're able to create essentially drip campaigns. What we've done is set up one ID for the group, and every member of the group has a campaign, quote unquote. You see my air quotes going, and their campaign is nothing more than a single video page, it has their little video profile. So we've recorded for them as a benefit of membership a little video profile, introducing themselves. The video is created with the assumption that it's going to be sent to someone who's learning about them, someone they're being introduced to. So now, when I meet that guy who needs a roofer, I pull out my smartphone, I pull up the Mojo app, and I scroll through my campaigns to my roofer's campaign and choose that one. I plug in this new guy's email address that I'm talking to, and I click go. And what happens is he immediately, instead of me passing him that business card, immediately he gets the video of my roofer. My roofer saying, hey, this is me, this is what I do, here's some more information over here on the left. There's a contact form down below. Let's get together. And it's such, it's much more personal, it's much more dynamic. That prospect now isn't just, throwing that roofer's card on the stack of other roofers' cards and ads and flyers that he gets from mailers and all that other kind of stuff. That guy stands out in his mind because he's met him.